guys, this is Chef Meagan here with Yellowbird. A lot of you have come up to the truck and asked me, hey, I got bok choy in my box and I have no clue what to do with it. So kind of partnering with Yellowbird to bring you some ideas that maybe you wouldn't have thought about with your box. So this week's box, we have so many great things, and because it's pretty much summertime, I thought let's get our beach body ready with an awesome salad. And I love salad, but there's sometimes that I cannot just take a basic salad. So this is not your basic salad. So we have some really great greens and lettuces and spinach that we're going to use because we're going to wilt down the greens a little bit with a warm vinaigrette. And then we're going to show you how to pickle the rhubarb, which some of you know what to do with it. Some of you are like, what is this green stock in my box? So we're going to check that out along with a really awesome vinaigrette, some delicious goat cheese. You don't have to use it if you're vegan. Use it if you want to. It's got a great creamy factor to it. It's going to be a sweet, savory salad. So these cucumbers are great. You know, you get them in your box and the skin is kind of tough sometimes. So I like to, what I call is candy stripe them so that you still get some of the great skin, but then you've kind of taken a little bit of the chew factor away from them. And I typically will cut them in half and then even take a little bit of the seeds out of them with a spoon. Not all of them, but just a little bit. You don't have to. This is just my preference. So this goes into my compost because you want to have your own garden too, right? And then I just cut them on a bias so that they have still some bite to them, but they're not too chewy for you when you take a bite of your salad. My next one, I'm going to be pickling this rhubarb. I've cut it like just in a little bias, but you can cut it like this or sticks if you want to, whatever way works for you, but we're gonna pickle it. And then after I pickle these, we're gonna move to our vinaigrette. I've already minced my shallots and it's gonna be a warm balsamic vinaigrette. And then after that, I'm gonna use Sarah's wonderful sourdough bread, and we're gonna make these crunchy croutons because I like a salad that has, you know, a little bit of crunch factor to it, creamy, acidity, like that just makes the perfect bite. So some of you have pickled items and some of you haven't. We're just gonna do a really quick pickle for the rhubarb. I like to do savory sweet. So we're gonna use peppercorns, this awesome apple cider vinegar right here that you can get at Yellowbird. And then we have some cloves, mustard seed, a little bit of red pepper flakes, garlic, salt, and honey for sweetness, because you want that balance of sweet and sour. You don't want your pickle to be super sweet or super tart. So we're basically going to add them all into a pan. We've got my vinegar. You just need a few peppercorns, a little bit of garlic, because you don't want to be warding off vampires here. A very small touch of your pepper flakes. If you don't like spicy, just omit them, no big deal. A couple mustard seeds. Pinch of this and a pinch of that, just like your mom used to tell you. One clove, because you know cloves are pretty potent. Then we're gonna do a nice spoonful of honey. This spoon's kind of small, so two. And then I'm gonna clean their stuff. And some salt. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm heating this up on the flame back here. And once everything's dissolved, I'm then gonna pour it back over my rhubarb and let it sit while I'm doing all the rest of my stuff. All right, so we're just stirring everything up to get it all dissolved. Once it's dissolved, probably just a little simmer. You're gonna pull it off, like I said, and then we're just gonna put it on the rhubarb. I have the pickling liquid going currently right behind me, and then I'm going to move forward with my greens. So we've got this beautiful spinach, and I like to just take a little bit of the stem off because it can be a little chewy. If you like that too, that bite, have at it. But I'm just gonna take them off. And it's great because the warm vinaigrette is going to lightly wilt these, so they have even more of a tender texture to them. So we're gonna take the stems off real quick, and we're gonna pop them into our bowl. And then we've got this beautiful kale, and typically I wouldn't use the stem, although you can pickle it or you can fry it. So when you take the kale off, we're just going to basically peel it off the stem, make real quick work of it, and then just a really quick rip of it. You don't need to cut it up, use your hands. But like I said, these stems actually, you can take them and you can julienne them and put them in a little cornstarch or rice flour, fry them, and then season with salt and pepper. They're a great crunch. Or you can pickle them, kind of like we're doing the rhubarb, okay? And then we've got these great, they kind of taste a little bit like bok choy, but they have less bite to them. They're more tender. So I am just going to do a really quick kind of julienne to them. And I'm gonna toss them right in. Again, because we're using a warm vinaigrette, it's gonna kind of wilt them lightly, but they're still gonna have this really nice freshness to them. Same with the lettuce. I like to take that and go like this, and pretty much the stem will come right off. Or not. All right, and then we just wanna make sure we wash them. Just get all the dirt off, and then we're gonna do a julienne as well. The pickling liquid is ready. What I need to tell you is always taste your food. I always have tasting spoons with me. I like to taste it. If you like something a little bit sweeter, add a little bit more honey to it. You like it a little bit more salty, add a little bit more salt to it. Always do it to your own taste. So I've got my rhubarb that I've already cut. I have a combination of sticks and bias cut. And then I have my pickling liquid, and I'm just pouring the warm liquid right on top of it, okay? This is gonna sit here while we're doing the rest of our stuff, and do a really quick pickle. Now, if you want a harder pickle on it, go ahead, let this cool, wrap it up once it's cooled, and let it sit. It will last for a very long time, until you decide to eat all of it. The longer you let it sit, the more potent it's gonna be. We have done our pickled rhubarb, and we're gonna move to a really super simple vinaigrette that is gonna be warm, that's gonna lightly wilt down our greens. So I love to save my bacon fat because I love bacon. If you don't like bacon, go ahead and use olive oil or coconut oil or whatever oil that you really like. Safflower oil is really great too. So I'm just gonna use a little touch of my bacon fat right there. And I'm gonna let it melt. And what I'm doing is I'm gonna get just a really nice light saute on my shallots, because I love shallots in this salad, okay? So I just did a quick mince of my shallots. Once my pan is hot, and you can always just test it with, and hear the sizzle. Maybe you hear the sizzle. We're just gonna add them in, okay? I'm just gonna give them a nice quick saute. Again, you don't need a lot of oil, just a little bit of oil to give them a nice translucent texture. Gotta love the smell of that bacon. Then, once they're sauteed, I'm going to be adding balsamic vinegar. Again, a little bit of honey. You can use agave, you can use maple, you can use sugar in the raw, just a little bit of sweetness. Salt and pepper. And then I'm going to finish it with a little bit of oil again. So they're now sauteed. They look great. We're just going to add a little bit of vinegar. And then we're going to add our sugar, or our honey, or our maple, or whatever your preferred is. Just a nice spoonful. A little bit of pepper, and a pinch of salt. And again, you can use olive oil, coconut, whatever you want. I'm just gonna add a touch more bacon fat because I want bacon with my strawberries. And I'm pretty sure Benji does too. I'm gonna do croutons because I love gluten, but some of you don't. It's all good. Leave these out. Just completely omit this section. We're just taking some delicious local butter and I'm melting it down. And then I have some ends of the bread that Sarah made me for carb explosions. So I'm just going to basically add these in and make sure that we have lightly tossed them in butter. Also a little bit of garlic. You can use fresh garlic, you can use granulated garlic, salt, and pepper. And all I'm doing is I'm just going to do a quick saute of them, make sure they're lightly coated, season them, and then they're gonna go in the oven. One pan. I'm a mom, I hate dishes. I'm sure you don't wanna have to do extra dishes, so this is perfect. You're using the same pan, it's gonna go in the oven, they're gonna get nice and crispy and into your salad. The least amount of dishes, perfect. So to recap, we have used everything that is in the box, except I added on this delicious goat cheese and a red onion. Everything else is already in your box. So we have the mixed greens that I have here, our pickled rhubarb, cucumbers, radish, strawberry, red onions, goat cheese, and I'm about to pull my croutons. Sourdough. Use literally any extra bread you have in the house. I know there's that heel piece that your kid doesn't want to eat for the peanut butter and jelly. That's what you're going to use, okay? Ooh. Yeah. You hear that sizzle? Delicious. All right, so we're taking our greens. We're just adding our cucumbers, radish, strawberries. So the radish is going to add this nice peppery, the strawberry sweetness, and the cucumber is just like a pop of fresh water crunch. Then we have our sour rhubarb. Don't need the liquid. You can save the liquid and you can reuse them for something else. A little bit of onion. I have julienne and minced. I don't like to take a big bite, so I'm going to use the minced. Some people like a little bit more onion. I tell my husband, please don't use that much onion. You smell like onion. Then we're going to use a little bit of goat cheese, or a lot because I love goat cheese. Then we're going to grab our vinaigrette. And while you're doing this, make sure you clean up after yourself. You don't want to create a bunch of mess for yourself at the end, and then you're kicking yourself because you have a bunch of dishes to do. So we're just going to toss all this together, and then I'm going to plate it up, finish it with a little bit more onion, a few more pieces of rhubarb, and some croutons. I have tossed everything together. I then have portioned it out. I always like to garnish. I think maybe that's just a chef thing, but also when you serve somebody, they go, oh my gosh, it looks so pretty. So I put a little bit more onions on top, a little bit more of our pickled rhubarb, and some of those crunchy croutons. I add the croutons at the very end because I don't want them to get soggy. I want them to be the crunch in the whole thing. So there you have it. You have a delicious salad, utilizing maybe some of the ingredients that you don't normally know how to use. Bye.